So, hello and welcome to another episode of Inspired Good Fat Life. And I am so excited about the guest that we have today. And I have some really fun personal stories to share about working with our guest. But first, I just want to remind you to check out Good Fat Life, our magazine, and at goodfatlife.com. We have a new issue that will be launching on January. First week of January. We've got tons of great events and lots of really fun, inspired content. And we also we spend a lot of time and energy in finding information that is not the current kind of blah, blah, blah. And as you'll hear on today's episode, there are ways to get the results in your health and wellness that you're looking for that you might not have considered before. So that said, I want to introduce Jill Fischer, our guest, and she's the founder and president of the College of Holistic Healing, and she has her master's in psychology, energy psychology, and clinical hypnotherapy, which your education it makes you fascinating, but it's like nothing as compared to a conversation with you, Jill. So welcome. Yeah.
Thank you, Sherri. Thank you.
Yeah, and Jill's college is out in Vancouver, BC, and
it is. It's a hybrid where it's physical, but it's also online.
Yeah.
So we have international students. Yeah.
Right. And so Jill is Canadian, and you will hear it in her accent. On
what accent?
Words. Yeah, I know, right? We have the accent. So anyways, which we are so delighted. So Jill, tell us, hypnotherapy and energy psychology, what are they?
Yeah. So hypnotherapy and energy psychology is what I've specialized in. And really what it's doing is it's using a meditative state. Meditation is actually a type of hypnotherapy. So it's using a state of mind where you actually slow your brain down so that you can access subconscious information. And the energy psychology is, basically in the title, it's using energy healing with the patterns of behavior that you have to find distorted energy in your, if you think of your energy field, we're all energy, like we're physical, of course, we're physical, and we're electrical in that we have electricity moving through us constantly. And using the combination of hypnotherapy and energy healing gives you access to information that's beyond logic. It's beyond what you're aware of. And it's actually how we're mostly programmed. It's like 95 to 99% of our programming of why we do what we do is unconscious, subconscious.
Is unconscious. So you always hear that it's 95% as behaviors and things that we just don't even know that we have.
Yeah.
Or beliefs or thought patterns or whatever.
Well, and even, I don't think about my heart beating. I don't think about breathing, right? Like there's so much automatic systems that are going on in our body so that we operate in a healthy way. But there can also be automatic systems that operate in an unhealthy way that we don't actually want. So this gives you the hypnotherapy and the energy healing, the energy psychology gives you access to that. Whereas talk therapy will just, it's part of, but it's more in the 1 to 5% access is the talk therapy. So being able to get into the deep work, into the unconscious and subconscious is really where the meat and potatoes are of what's driving your behavior.
Tell us those statistics, because when I read those, I was just like blown away.
Yeah. Okay, so the statistics. So this is a study done from the from the Journal of Psychotherapy Theory, Research, and Practice, published in American Health magazine. The study showed that hypnotherapy has a 93% success rate on an average of 6 sessions. as opposed to psychoanalysis, so more like talk therapy, has a success rate of about 38% on an average of 600 sessions. And it's not a typo. So six
It's just
sessions with
mind-boggling.
93 to 600 sessions with a 38% success. And then it also talks about behavior therapy, where it's 72% success after 22 sessions.
Wow.
So if you think of from that, of understanding how much time and money you're going to save by going directly into your subconscious patterning and working with that, as opposed to the talk therapy. If you think of, the iceberg effect, right? You're dealing
Right.
with above the water in the talk therapy. Whereas if you get under the water where most of the iceberg is, that's really uh, you're accessing the information that's beyond your logic. What you're aware of is above the water. What you're not aware of is below. Go
So
ahead.
give us no, no, give us some examples. So what's some of your favorite examples, and then I'll talk a little bit about the session we had because it's been
Mm.
mind-boggling for me.
So I was working with this one woman, and of course, like, her topic was weight loss, and of course weight is about what you eat and how active you are, right? Your exercise. And there's a lot of undercurrents that are going on. If it was just, eat less and exercise more, we'd all be able to handle that, and it wouldn't be the $1 trillion industry it is. Um, and so what I've seen is some patterns of um, subconscious patterns that can be present that gets in the way of weight loss. And one big topic is protection, where our cells can feel unsafe. They have memories of hurt, or there's incompletions from past relationships, and so our cells hold on, almost like an energetic shield, and it shows up as extra weight, or it activates stress hormones like cortisol and keeps weight on us. So this woman, we were doing some hypnotherapy sessions, and this one session we worked on her incompletions around her past marriage and how hurt she was, and she had some anger and resentment that hadn't been worked through. And so we did some energy releases around that. And the next day, she goes to the doctor because her clothes won't fit. They're falling off of her. She literally dropped 20 pounds overnight, which sounds unbelievable. So I asked her to record it for me and she went to the doctor because she was like, what happened? And the doctor weighed her 3 times, and she had lost 20 pounds overnight. And now it sounds unbelievable, right? She continued to lose another 10 pounds over the week, and she's kept it off. Like, this was a few years back. If you think of, you've probably experienced people where they hardly eat anything, but they're holding on to extra weight. There can be so much that's going on in our subconscious that is creating the extra weight for different reasons besides how active they are and what they're eating. And so combining the emotional healing, the uh, the psychological healing, the energetic healing, with choosing healthy food, and of course healthy fat, then you have
Absolutely.
congruency, right? Yeah, you have agreement with your unconscious, your energetic systems, with what you're actually doing on purpose in your patterns of eating, and how you're choosing your exercise and movement. So then you're in harmony or coherence with yourself, rather than fighting against yourself and trying to white knuckle things, which is what um, a lot of the weight loss programs can be. A lot of structure and regimented systems to follow, which are helpful. But if you're going against your natural state, that is like 95% of your programming, it's like fighting like a mosquito against an elephant. The mosquito will be irritating, but the elephant's going to win.
I mean, weight loss is just kind of one example. I'm sure you would deal with relationships and finances and I don't know, procrastination. I was surprised on the form that I filled out. There was like procrastination was on there, which was interesting. And
Procrastination is interesting, right? Because I think we all we procrastinate against something. When you think of white knuckling and just getting to it, obviously that doesn't work. Otherwise, we wouldn't have the word procrastination available to us. And it might work
right.
temporarily again to, again, white knuckle and plow through it, and be kind of militant about it and bypass all of our feelings and energies. But if you look at procrastination, that there's something in the way that prevents us from getting at the task. And yes, this work can be done, like you said, for any topic really. It's anything where you're blocked, or you have a glass ceiling to expand through and exceed and succeed through. But the procrastination, yeah, that was a good one. Maybe you want to share of what you discovered for yourself in doing that.
So yeah, so well, and you talk about pain and finding the pleasure, right?
Mm,
And
yeah.
there was a couple things that we did in our session, but the first one was around procrastination, and the topic was piles. I have piles, stacks of books and papers and things that need to be piled, and for some reason, I just don't get to putting them away. And so kind of for fun, Jill's just like, well, let's just deal with this, right? Let's just talk about this for a second and do some work with this. And so we did. And one of the things that popped up for me, and she said, kind of, why don't you? And I said, well, part of them is they're like my friends, and just looking at them, I don't have stress around them, but they create stress for other people. And when I worked in the corporate world, my desk was always stacked high with files and books and papers and stuff. And my bosses would, get on my case about it because they liked a clean desk philosophy. And one of the VPs of my division, he showed me what he did. He just picked all his piles up and put them in a drawer every night. He had a big, deep drawer, and then he'd pick them out, put them out. So anyway, so you find ways to kind of like adapt, right? But it's really not getting to the root cause, and that's what Jill's work is all about: is getting to the underlying, that 95% that's deep, right? So that we just don't even have to shove our stuff in a drawer. Um, so
Wouldn't that be great just to shove everything in a drawer and ignore it? Go watch
right,
Netflix and
right.
have wine.
But it doesn't really, but it doesn't address the issue, right? You still
Yeah,
have to do it.
exactly. Yeah.
So anyway, we did this work, and she goes through a process, and what came out of it is, what if I looked at my files and my papers and books as friends or children that needed to be put to bed at night, so that they got a good rest and just they're protected and cared for. And it was just so funny to me in the nicest of ways. It just made me laugh, and it still makes me smile. And so I've just found myself since then looking at all of these things so differently. And it's like, yes, of course, you deserve to be in your own safe space, where you're protected and you're feeling loved. And it just, I don't know, Jill. And the other things that we worked on, it shifted so much, in ways that I would have never in a million years thought of, right? I mean, who starts thinking of their books and their files and piles as children that need to be snugged in their little spaces? But it shifted everything, right?
Yeah.
And so now
Yeah.
it's fun. It's playful. I ordered some really fun, cute files that I'm excited about, and I just have found since then it literally shifted everything. And so
Yeah.
and now it's become easy. It's just become easy. It's no longer like, oh, I should do this. It's like, oh, here, let me put you where you belong. So anyways,
I'm so
um,
happy for you.
yeah,
I'm so happy for you because it's it's if you're okay, I'll speak into this a little bit
sure,
of what's going on behind the scene because it sounds
sure,
lovely and it sounds childlike and playful. which we gravitate to. As much as we might want to have credibility by being serious and academic and logical, we're drawn to comedians. We're drawn to laughter. We're drawn to play. We lean into love. We lean into high vibration. And it's the premise of we move towards pleasure or we move away from pain. So so those polarities, pleasure and pain. So when you um, are not able, so putting files away, putting paperwork away, when there is, you said they're like my friends. So there's pleasure associated to having your friends around, right? But there was pain to it was annoying other people,
Mm.
right? And so then that impacts you. So, so when you look at the outcome, the goal is that you want to have organization and order to your paperwork and your books and put them away, right? So to introduce more pleasure and let go of the pain gives you freedom of choice. So the outcome was the feeling of these are your kids that you're taking care of and you love them and they're reliant on you and they need you. They're like little 3-year-olds that, they would stay up till 11 o'clock at night if you let them. But then, their systems are going to break down because they haven't got enough sleep. And so we as like the parents or the guardians need to say, okay, it's 8 o'clock, it's bedtime. Here, I'll tuck you in and give you a little bedtime story. And it's a lovely experience that they look forward to. And so putting that into your files and putting your stuff away of like, because they're already associated as friends, right? So
Mm.
they're already in the pleasure category, which is great. We just ramped up the pleasure category about like how you're caring for your friends, because I know that you're a caring person by nature, right? And
Right.
and so it's like, of course you're going to want to care for your friends. You've cared for me like a friend before. Of course you want to care for your friends. So we ramped that up so the pleasure was even more appealing. And we also did some energy releases to let go of whatever was entangled with the pain of maybe annoying other people about it, or the energy of keeping the disorder around you, whatever that was. And that's where the energy work comes in, where we find the distorted energy, and looking at, there could be some emotions that were caught there, or it could be inherited energy from generations past. It could be energy caught from, we absorb, we're like walking sponges, right? And so we can absorb other people's energy or cultural patterns we can absorb. It might be that you might have watched a movie at one time about this really brilliant person that had piles of books around, and that looked really appealing, and it's like a credibility thing of, look at how smart I am. I know I have
Einstein
that.
did, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I can have crazy hair and be super smart with my books all over the place. Right? So
Right.
releasing belief systems like you mentioned before of that can get entangled into behavior that you don't actually want.
Mm.
And so the energy releases inside of the hypnotherapy give you that freedom of choice. And then our natural tendency, everyone, unless there's something psychologically damaged, which is rare, but if you think of the basis of every human being is love. And we want to care for each other and connection and community. And so when you lean into that field of love and expansion, there's a natural tendency to want to hang out there.
Mm.
But if there's fear and there's distorted energy in the way, it's kind of like, a cloud over your head. You can't see the blue sky up there. You want to go fly up there. You want to be like an eagle soaring to see a higher perspective on things. But you're caught underneath the cloud and you can't even really see where is that sky. So the releasing of the energy allows you to see the sky, and it's like, oh, there it is, and then zoom, you can be that eagle soaring.
And you can feel good about it.
And you can feel good
Because you
about it
have,
because it feels good. It
oh,
feels really good.
Right. And so we did some additional work on, one of the things with, I think Good Fat Life is like we teach what we need to know, right? Um,
Totally.
and so one of the challenges I've had is with, 20 extra pounds. And, and I'm taking a number of steps that's, part of my journey because I believe, and as we've talked about, is that um, our bodies inherently know where the right spot for us is, the right weight, the right balance. And until we're really in a balanced and aligned, we're going to have
Sure.
symptoms around it, right? And um, so we were working on that a little bit, and some things that came up were just like, again, like treating your books like your babies, your children. They were so random and so out of never would I think of it in a million years. And the joy, the joy of those new perspectives or insights just have had me smiling like grin to grin since then. And
Aw.
I've lost 3 pounds. I mean,
Woo, 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 woo. And it's been what,
so,
2 days? Woo, woo,
yeah,
woo,
right. So who knows? Right now, I'm kind of in that. Let's just see what happens.
yeah.
But I'm also like, wow. And as somebody said earlier today, if it's true or not true, who cares in the bigger picture?
Totally.
I'm looking at the results and the outcome.
Yeah.
Like my perspective on a couple things I didn't even know were making me crazy has completely changed, and it's
Mm.
delightful and it's joy filled, and what's not to love about that?
I know. I know. This is what had me fall in love with hypnotherapy. It's fascinating and it's joyful, right? Like
Right.
therapy or shifting your behavior does not have to be laborious hard work. It actually can be fun and fascinating
And effective. That's
and
the other thing,
effective. That's
right?
that's the most important part of it.
Right.
You're right.
Right. It works.
proofs in the
You
proofs in the pudding, yeah,
you
or the
need,
lack of pudding.
so we have the option of having a 93% success rate after 6 sessions, or spending years um, trying and failing, or trying and trying and trying and having the same outcome.
Sorry, I gotta
No.
put this in too because it's so exciting. Is that it's effortless when your body's in agreement with you. It's effortless. The weight just comes off, right? The
Great.
files just get filed. The books get put away. It's effortless. It's actually joyful to do. Like you said, like I just have a smile on my face.
And that's the part, Jill, that I'm finding that has been such a, I don't want to say surprise, but it's just been such a gift. Like I've probably told a dozen people about this experience in the past 2 days because I'm so joy filled about it that I just have to share. It's like, oh my gosh, who knew that
Yeah,
there's this thing out there that can just turn things that have been making you crazy on its head, like immediately. Six
yeah,
sessions, right?
yeah.
So even after the first, I'm just kind of walking on clouds in a couple of areas. So how
I'm
cool is that?
so
Yeah.
happy for you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's fascinating to start to understand how we're wired for our life, and that we do have a say in altering that. It's not our like our plight in life or woe is me that this is just my destiny because I'm Italian, so there's going to be lots of drama, or like whatever formula we might have in our mind about why we are the way we are. If you think of electrons orbiting around a neutron and a proton, the electron's constantly moving, even in solid stuff, right? If we go back to high school biology, right? Like even the solid stuff, the electrons are orbiting, so everything is actually in motion. Everything is in a spiral in motion. And when there's a belief system or toxicity or criticism or something that is distorting, that is lowering how we are in life, like the effectiveness of how we are, or being at a healthy weight, or healing from an illness, or having a loving relationship with our partner, whatever the topic is, if we're not attaining what we want, there's something distorted in the way energetically. And so if you even think of it like at the atomic level, where an electron is orbiting round and round, like a football going around a basketball. I'd say a basketball going around a football stadium, right? Like that's the proportion of how much space there is compared to matter. The
Mm.
basketball is the matter, and the orbiting of the football field is all the space that's there. And when there's something that is toxic, and it could be mold, it could be unhealthy food. It could be growing up with a controlling parent, or some kind of, we all have our various degrees of dysfunction in our family that we grow up with. And there can be a distortion now of the electron, rather than orbiting round and round, it's moving around this toxicity. Like it's got a wobble, and that creates some kind of problem, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, something's created there. And when we release that, then the electron can go back to round and round. And then the cell is going to heal itself. It has a natural innate intelligence to heal itself once we cleanse out that toxicity. So um, the topic of using energy psychology and hypnotherapy combined, it's like the superpower of cleansing out that invisible, whatever the toxicity is, releasing that, and then amplifying and supporting the natural rhythms of your body, anyways, and putting some juice in there called joy or fun or laughter or play, like the putting your files to
Yeah.
bed and tucking them in like you're caring for your children.
With pretty files, which I love. I love beautiful papers and all of that stuff. So it's
You're
just
speaking
like,
to the choir here.
yeah, what's not to love about that, right? So,
Totally.
what if somebody wants to learn more about this? How would they find you, and what kinds of things do you offer to support the work that you do?
Thank you. Well, my personal website for hypnotherapy is my name, so it's jillfischer.ca. So it's JILLFISCHER.ca, because I'm up in Canada. And you can have a look at some information about hypnotherapy there. I also run a College of Holistic Healing. And this is where there's different certification programs. If you're interested in learning about hypnotherapy, we have programs there to teach you at different levels. And there's also an energy psychology certification program there, and a transformational coaching program. And we're bringing in more programs all the time. So if you're interested in learning more about it or taking courses to kind of wet your whistle, the college website is CHH, so that's the College of Holistic Healing, .online. And you can also contact me through that.
Okay, that's great. I mean, what fun classes. I'm just thinking, how much time is there in a day?
Well, we can warp time. We can
Right?
morph
Yeah.
it.
There you go. And so, and it's like, I want to get this PhD done. Um, every
Yes.
time, every time I see the graduates in their hats, right? I'm like, oh,
hmm
I want to get this done. So,
Yes, totally. I'm
um,
with you there. That's actually
yeah,
where we met.
that
Yeah.
is that for the college. We're in the same cohort for our getting our PhDs, and it's just so much fun. I mean, who knew the the conversations that would be had with people that we're in class with, right?
Yes, I did not predict the outcomes that would happen by jumping on board and saying yes to get a I'm working on my PhD for energy psychology, and the play and the fun and the collaboration. I had no idea. I had no idea that this would be part of the journey, and it's like a lovely blessing, a lovely surprise along the way.
Yeah, yeah. So, so that said, well, I am so excited about what's possible, right? And I'm telling all my friends and my friends too that are the people in my world that have been struggling for years with a relationship or weight or finances or their careers, like you said, the glass ceiling. Kind of with anything that anybody's been, it's like the conversation is just continual. It's like I don't want to have that conversation anymore.
Yeah, I was just thinking about the the expansion of your life, right? That we don't have to just cycle and have more of the same.
Hmm.
And that we're going for a PhD. It's a goal that we've set. We've created this goal up here to attain that PhD level. And along the way, these blessings happen because we're going for the PhD that would may not have happened had we not set that goal, right? And so stepping out of more of the same, like the same old, and going for something that lights you up, and then along the way having almost like right angles, um, introducing like we connected that way, and I didn't know you before, and the blessings of being together now, how we get to play together and support each other, and we'll keep going along that journey. That was available because we went for something, right? And
Out of our comfort zone, and
totally out of
that
our
it's
comfort zone.
much bigger than us. I know. Yeah. Way
Yeah,
out. It's
yeah,
like, what the
yeah.
heck? But,
Yeah,
um,
I have a program, High Vibration Living, that is supportive of this, where looking at where your life is now, there's a certain frequency to where your life is, and it will create a certain normal, familiar pattern to your life, and you'll get similar results. And high vibration living is designed to support you in flourishing forward. And we we're so programmed in how to survive life and how to run the rat race faster and faster, and then recover from adrenal fatigue because we've been running so fast. And going into learning how to, because we're not as familiar how to fly forward, how to live in a higher vibration, how to flourish and be comfortable and familiar with flourishing. It's almost like weight training to build a muscle, right? So we're doing arm curls to build our bicep. That would be growing and expanding so that you're stronger and stronger. What we've been doing is the survival for thousands of years. Humanity has been surviving to be able to just get along and procreate and keep the population going, and we've been successful at that. We've got what, 8 billion on the planet now. We've been pretty successful at surviving, and it's harsh living of just the basic necessities and needs, and that's kind of like having your arm in a cast, and you're protecting your arm so that you can survive, and that you take the cast off and it's exposed and it might get wounded again, you put the cast back on. That would be the analogy of like surviving, as opposed to building a muscle to grow stronger and stronger so that you can maybe learn how to fly, or you can learn how to play tennis, or you can learn how to so yeah, it's a fascinating time to be alive on the planet, that's for sure, because we're at a time where we can do this.
wow. Well, and we have this, and I just love that we have Good Fat Life, um, the platform to share the work that you're doing,
Totally. We
right?
need it. We need to
Yeah.
learn. Like, people don't know. People just don't know how valuable healthy fat is, right?
Right. Right. They don't. And you have to listen to Lucas's podcast.
Okay. Totally.
On yeah, because he shared some things with me that anyway, well, that's for another session, but it was mind-boggling.
That's
So
awesome.
it was like, yeah, just trust the intuition. Good fat is the right
Yeah.
way to go. So
Well, and that's, I mean, the need for the education and the learning and the community of learning about good fat. It's part of building the flourishing forward. Like, how do I live in a higher vibration state? And a big part of that is like what you're putting into your body. And we've been
yeah,
so misinformed over the years, and that fat is bad, but it's not. We need it. It's part of our cellular structure. It's part of the lubricant of our brain working well.
Right. And as without spoiling it too much, as Lucas said, we would be, if we didn't have fat, good fat for our cells, to make our cells, we wouldn't be able to stand up. We wouldn't be able to have the 80% of water in our body wouldn't have form.
Yeah.
We'd be a
Yeah.
puddle. So
Yeah.
so anyways, it was kind of like, oh, day keeps getting better.
Okay, I want to
Better.
go eat my avocado now.
There you go. There you go. Me too. So, thank you so much for being here and for sharing what you have to offer and the unique combination of you and your school, and um, it's just incredibly exciting. I'm I'm just honored to be able to and to work with you. I'm so excited to see what's going to happen over the next 6 months. Right?
Yes, yes, totally, totally jumping in with both feet, and you're being a human experiment in it, and I'm thrilled to support you in this because you're so open and willing and curious. Like that's such a great characteristic to have for succeeding in your goals is the curiosity. So yes, thank you for inviting me onto your show. And it's been super fun, and I'm looking forward to our journey.
Yes, me
We've got
too.
more
Well,
togetherness.
it's just begun. So, and yes, so check out, well, in the show notes, we'll have how you can find Jill if you want to know more about the work she does. And then don't forget to go to goodfatlife.com and watch for the new issue because it'll be out shortly and it's very exciting and all the events coming up. So, thank you. On that happy note, let's go out and live our good fat life.